In today's video, should you lower calories or increase cardio?
All by myself.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com. In today's video, we're going to address the question of whether you should be reducing calories or increasing cardio when you hit a stall in a fat loss program. The question came from my Instagram direct message, so thank you guys for going to my Instagram that's here on the screen, sending me direct messages, and allowing me to answer the questions. I really appreciate all the support. You guys send me such great questions. It really continuously kind of reminds me what's going on, what you guys are in need of, and how I can help. And I'm just really excited about that process. So let's talk about today's question, which came in, and immediately, some of these questions can get pretty lengthy, and this was another lengthy one, but honestly, to answer your question properly, I need a good bit of information. And the question came in about a sticking point, so I'll put it here on the screen. So this person is actually adjusting calories and adjusting cardio, and there's a few key factors here that told me what I should do with this person. Now, they basically had their calories in a nice place. I didn't think that they were in danger of under eating. When we're talking about 160 to 190 protein, 60 to 70 fat, and 145 grams of carbs, these are certainly, okay numbers. I wouldn't by any means, depending on the size of the person, the training history of the person, I wouldn't say that these were like dangerous numbers. So it got me looking at what else they were doing. And it said they're doing HIIT cardio immediately after training a couple days a week. And so my first clue here was, okay, what are we going to adjust based on this individual's preferences? Because cardio is pretty low. Doing some HIIT cardio for a few minutes each time you work out, I wouldn't consider that very demanding. Depending on the type of HIIT cardio you're doing, it actually might be too much. HIIT cardio is very tough to recover from, and I've talked about this before in my videos, but I'm a big believer in, for physique goals, when you're trying to get ultra lean, HIIT cardio can actually set you back because, as we know based on the research, when you do a lot of high intensity interval cardio, well, you tend to be lazier the rest of the day. So what you do when you're low body fat is you start trading off your non-exercise activity, or your hand motions like this, or moving around, or just being active. You start becoming very sedentary. You start being, I even notice I talk less. I go out of my way to talk to people less. I have less desire to get up and from my desk and do things. Whereas now that I'm not in contest prep shape, I feel like I can just do things and not have to think about them. So you start to conserve energy when you do a lot of HIIT cardio, especially when you're lean. And so the reason I pull HIIT cardio out for most of my competitors is because I want to make recovery and the bodybuilding aspect of the sport more important. Okay, that's the priority. That is the specifics of competing. So when I look at your situation, I think you could easily remedy what you're doing by simply adding in some steady state cardio. That's going to be a great way. Now, it could be as simple as walking, but what is the decision process like me? When is it time to reduce calories, and when is it time to add cardio, and how do I know what to do? Well, a lot of it will come down to my conversations with the individual. Is somebody hungry? Is somebody feeling okay about their meal size? If they are, and they're willing to take away some calories, well then let's do that. One thing I find is some people actually like eating less. I know it sounds weird, but it's technically my job. Someone checks in and I say, eat less. I had a great example yesterday. A client of mine named Megan has been waiting for us to start a fat loss phase, and we finally started, and she celebrated the fact that I told her to eat less. That's a great example. When you eat less, you know that there's going to be a positive change. You know that something's coming with that. I actually get excited about that too. When I stall in a fat loss phase, I kind of get excited for the grind. I get excited for the part where we find out what we're made of. So when it comes to being hungry in prep or during a fat loss phase, it's positively associated with success. I'll actually feel guilty, and I know my clients will feel guilty, and you might even feel guilty if you don't feel hungry at certain times of the day. And for good reason. If you don't feel hungry, you're probably not losing body fat, okay? There is going to be a certain amount of hunger associated with the process of getting leaner. That is our body's attempt to not allow that to happen. You're basically depleting your body of energy stores. Our bodies are not hoping we get a contract with a modeling agency. No, our body is solely concerned with our survival. Our pituitary gland, our brain, our hormones are all set up to ensure that we survive. And when we start to adjust things, our body fights back. So as long as somebody tells me that they're okay with adjusting calories, I'll certainly do that. However, once calories reach certain thresholds, I really don't like to go below that, okay? I like to have some carbohydrates in the diet for physique athletes, okay? So I don't want to go zero carb or keto unless it's absolutely necessary. Likewise, I don't like nutritional fat to go very low, okay? You know, I've had some people at 30 to 35 grams of fat. Those would be very small people, probably close to 100 pounds. So it's actually a higher percentage of their calories. But, you know, my threshold is usually about 40 grams of fat. From there, I like to just use more steady state cardio. I find this to be very beneficial, okay, for a few reasons. It's pretty easy to perform. It preferentially uses body fat as fuel, and it's easy to recover from. The only issue that I find is that it's time consuming, okay? I have a treadmill in my garage. I go in there, I walk on it. When I'm done, I go take a shower, I continue with my day. However, when I have to do an hour a day of it, you know, that's a time consideration. Depending on what's going on in your life, you might not have that time to do that. But what I find is that if we can plan more steps using your Fitbit, you say, you know, you've been getting 10,000 steps a day. Well, what if you could work that up to 20,000 steps a day, right? You might not have to adjust your calories. So the argument over calories versus cardio for me comes down to understanding where you're at in your life. Adjusting your calories requires no time. Adding in cardio requires time. So it comes down to a balance between what's right for you. I find there is such a thing as too low of calories. There's also such a thing as too much cardio, okay? So you have to find the right balance. And always, there's opportunities to do things like diet breaks and use refeed days to ensure that this non-linear diet is happening. You don't need to always be in a deficit. You don't need to always be doing more cardio. You don't need to always be subtracting calories to get to your goal. Taking periods of restoration, such as diets, multiple day diet breaks, multiple day refeeds, or a diet break where we take, 5, 7, 14 days, raise calories up, drop cardio down, kind of recover before we push forward. It doesn't have to be linear. It doesn't have to be always going down, right? And cardio doesn't have to be always going up, right? There's a process that we can use here to sustain fat loss for a longer amount of time. Hopefully that answers the question, guys. I know I didn't really tell you what you should use, but the answer comes down to you. If you still feel full and you're okay with cutting calories, that's a great way to do it. If you enjoy cardio, I actually enjoy cardio. I actually enjoy going in there and breaking a sweat. I feel like I'm doing something. Some people might not like that. So a lot of it's going to come down to what you enjoy. Don't fall into the trap of feeling like you have to do what everyone else is doing. There's two things we can do. And there's also one more approach. You can adjust calories a little bit and adjust cardio a little bit, kind of balancing that. And that's something I commonly do as well. So when it comes down to calories versus cardio, you have to look at the entire situation and then do what's best for you. For my friend here, I would probably just add some steady state cardio, okay? I find his carbs to be kind of low, so I wouldn't want to do that. I'd probably add in a refeed, and then I'd probably add in some steady state cardio sessions. He might be able to squeeze in 15 minutes of steady state right before he trains as a warm up, and thus he's added a bunch of steady state cardio without really impacting his day negatively. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for me today. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Have a great Friday. And I'll talk to you maybe tomorrow, but maybe not till Monday. We'll see.